How's everybody doing today? So here I am at Woodlawn Cemetery in Detroit. I've been out here many times and I've done about 3 videos that I've uploaded already, but I've also done videos from here before that I've never put up, where I've gone to, there are so many people here. So I've done bits and parts of a video that I was going to put together and tried to film it. But this time I'm doing it all at once. It's extremely windy outside, so I'm gonna have to do a lot of voiceovers. Like, I'm talking really windy today. But I'm gonna start off with a couple of famous people that I've done before, and then show you some graves of some Motown singers, car manufacturers. So many famous people are buried here at Woodlawn in Detroit. And right now I'm in the Rosa Parks Chapel, and I'm gonna show you Rosa Parks' grave. So if you come in right on your right, come right through the hallway, here's Rosa Parks, mother of the modern day civil rights movement. You can watch my video about Rosa Parks right here on my channel. I'll put a link below. So right down here, if you come right along here, right when in the front entrance is proof from the rap group D12 with Eminem. My favorite artist, as people who watch my channel probably know. Proof was a big influence on Eminem, and was the one that encouraged him to rap. And when he was fatally shot in 2006. And buried right next to him is his mother, Charlene, AKA Pepper. There's proof right there. All right, so now I'm gonna take you outside. Like I said, I'm gonna have to do voiceovers, unfortunately. If I can, I will talk over the wind, but it is extremely windy. Let's go outside, and right at the main entrance, there's the building that I was showing at the very beginning. Right behind is Levi Stubbs. Let's go take a look at his grave.
Levi Stubbs was an American singer best known as the lead vocalist of the rhythm and blues group The Four Tops, who released many Motown hits during the 1960s and 1970s. He was also the voice of Audrey II, the man-eating plant in Little Shop of Horrors, the movie version. Now, usually I leave rocks at every grave that I visit, but I had just made my way into Detroit and decided to stop at Woodlawn on my way in and didn't have my usual bag of rocks with me, so I'm only able to leave a rock at certain graves. And I wish I could have left one at everyone, but there are no rocks around there. So I just, whatever I could find. So some people I didn't leave rocks for, which I was really sad about, but I put them on a few graves, and I leave them there as a remembrance to the people who passed.
So now as I'm leaving Levi Stubbs area, we're gonna go around back into my car. We're gonna drive all the way around back, and I'm gonna show you a future grave. Something that's going to be buried here, hopefully not for a very long time. So, many of you may know that Detroit is known as the Motor City with the big 3, General Motors, Dodge, and Ford for car manufacturers. And right here are the Dodge brothers.
This mausoleum is the final resting place of John and Horace Dodge, the Dodge brothers. They started out making bicycles and then automotive parts, and then became major stakeholders in the Ford Motor Company. Henry Ford contracted them to produce Model Ts because he couldn't keep up with the demand, and John Dodge even became Ford's vice president. However, soon the Dodge brothers decided to cut ties with Ford and start their own company, Dodge.
It's a nice stained glass window back there. It's very hard to see.
Coming up is the Ross family mausoleum, and interred in here is Arthur T. Boy Ross, Diana Ross's brother, who's a singer in his own right, and her mother, Ernestine Moten Jordan. Diana Ross, of course, famed lead singer of the Supremes and solo artist. Hopefully it will be a long, long time before Diana Ross is interred in here, but this is her future final resting place. Billy Davis was an American songwriter, record producer, and singer. He was also known as a writer-producer of commercial jingles, mostly for Coca-Cola. Remember that song, I Like to Teach the World to Sing? Well, that was based off of I Like to Buy the World a Coke, co-written by Billy Davis. Usually I like to read the inscription on the grave for you, the viewer, but unfortunately it was faded on some parts, and it was just, I couldn't read all of it due to weather, I guess, and length of time the stone has been out there, so I wasn't able to really read it, and I apologize. I wish I could have been able to read it aloud for you. Lawrence Payton was a popular American tenor, songwriter, vocal arranger, musician, and record producer for the Motown band The Four Tops. Discovered by Berry Gordy while working at a carnival, Marv Johnson, a popular American R&B and soul singer, is notable for performing on the first record issued by Tamla Records, which later became Motown. That song was called Come to Me, and it reached number 30 on the Billboard Hot 100 charts. Uriel Jones was a recording session drummer for Motown's in-house studio band, the Funk Brothers, during the 1960s and early 1970s. He had a hard-hitting, funky sound, and it's best heard on tracks such as Ain't No Mountain High Enough, I Heard It Through the Grapevine, Ain't Too Proud to Beg, I Second That Emotion, For Once in My Life by Stevie Wonder. This guy was all over it, man. Amazing drummer. Clarence Levon Franklin was an American Baptist minister and civil rights activist known as the man with the $1 million voice. Clarence Franklin served as the pastor of New Bethel Baptist Church in Detroit, Michigan, until he was shot and wounded in 1979. Pastor Franklin was also the father of singer and songwriter Aretha Franklin, who is interred right above him. Aretha Franklin, singer, songwriter, pianist, civil rights activist, one of the most famous singers of all time. Hit songs like Respect, Chain of Fools, You Make Me Feel Like a Natural Woman, I Say a Little Prayer. Aretha Franklin, the Queen of Soul. To find Aretha Franklin's final resting place, come in through these doors right here on the right, which is on the bottom floor of the main mausoleum, and make an immediate left. And that's where Aretha and her father are interred. George Trendle was a Detroit lawyer and businessman, best known as the producer of the Lone Ranger radio and television programs, along with the Green Hornet. He is credited, along with Fran Stryker, as the co-creator as well of the Lone Ranger and the Green Hornet.
So as I'm leaving the mausoleum where Aretha is and George Trendle is, we're gonna go outside. I'm gonna show you some of the Ford family. Henry Ford himself is buried at the Ford Cemetery in Dearborn, Michigan. Let's go outside.
Now out here is the Ford family plot, like I was saying. Edsel Ford, president and son of Henry Ford, is buried here. And Eleanor Clay Ford, the wife of Edsel Ford. And also William Clay Ford Sr., the grandchild of Henry Ford, who also at one point owned the Detroit Lions. Now there's a fence here around the, you see right here, I'm going to point it out, yeah. And usually that's not there. You're able to walk right up to the outdoor crypts, but there's now a little fence there, so I couldn't get any closer. But yeah, 3 members of the Ford family right there. Now, I've made a video about this before. This is a gravestone for Michael Jackson, but it's just a marker. Michael is buried at Forest Lawn, Glendale in California, of course. What's buried here is, under the gravestone, there's 2 coffins filled with Michael Jackson memorabilia, collectibles, and trinkets that were left behind by fans on the steps of the Motown Museum in Detroit not long after Michael had passed. Woodlawn Cemetery donated this plot so he could be remembered by the Detroit and Michigan fans that made him and his brothers famous. Purvis Jackson was an American R&B singer, noted as the bass singer for the Spinners, and was one of the group's original members. The Spinners were a top band for Motown in the 1960s. Although it's close to the road, this gravesite was very difficult to find. This is Ronald W. Winans, who's an American gospel singer and member of the group The Winans. Now, the Winans are a hugely popular family of gospel music artists from Detroit, and they also dabbled in R&B, pop music, and this whole area right here by the road is dedicated to the Winans family. So this is the front area where the Winans family is, Levi Stubbs. Now I'm going back over past the building, the main entranceway, back over to those mausoleums by the Rosa Parks mausoleum to show you one last grave before I leave for the day. Bobby Smith was another member of the Motown group The Spinners. He'd been the group's lead singer since its inception, having sung lead vocals on the Spinners' first hit record, That's What Girls Are Made For. He also sang lead on most of their Motown material during the 1960s. All right, so that's it from Woodlawn for today. There are a lot more people buried here than I was able to get to today. And I really want to show everyone, but it's really difficult. It's a very big cemetery. It's very windy, as you can hear. And there's a lot of founders of the city of Detroit, civil rights activists, so many people. And I really wish I could show them all. I did a fair amount. And if this video, a lot of people like it, I'll be out here again. I'm always in Detroit. I love it. I love the city of Detroit. You should visit the city of Detroit. I'm going to take off now to go film something else. Hope you enjoyed this video. Peace to everyone here. Peace and love. Much love and respect. And Rosa Parks right there. Right there. Rosa Parks. I might go back in and take another look. Because he's a personal hero of mine. She should be one of yours, I hope, too. All right. Peace out.